Picture this. It's a quiet Tuesday afternoon. You're sitting in your favorite recliner, the one you bought at the Macy's sale last Memorial Day, sipping coffee from your trusty mug, the one with "World's Best Grandparent" written on it. The phone rings. You glance at the caller ID, and it says, Social Security Administration. Your heart skips a beat. The voice on the other end is sharp, official, almost robotic. "This is Agent Johnson," it says. "We've detected suspicious activity on your account. If you don't act now, your benefits will be terminated permanently." What would you do? Now hold that thought. Because last year, scammers stole over $1 billion from seniors just like you. Hardworking Americans who've paid into Social Security, saved for retirement, and looked forward to enjoying their golden years. $1 billion. That's enough to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool with dollar bills, drained straight from the pockets of people who thought they were doing the right thing. And here's the chilling truth. Scammers target us, seniors, because they think we're easy prey. They think we won't notice the red flags. They think we'll panic and hand over our life savings without a second thought. But today, my friends, we're going to turn the tables. We're going to outsmart them. Because you're not a victim, you're a fighter. Let me tell you a story, a true story, that'll make your blood run cold. Imagine you're a retiree named Mary, living in a small town in Ohio, the kind of place where folks still wave to each other on Main Street, and the diner serves the best apple pie this side of the Mississippi. Mary's 72, a proud grandmother of 5, and she's careful with her money. She's the kind of woman who clips coupons from the Sunday paper and watches reruns of Wheel of Fortune every night at 7:30 sharp. One day, Mary checks her email, something she's learned to do to keep up with her grandkids' school photos. There, in her inbox, is a message from her bank. Not just any bank, but her bank. Chase, the one she's trusted since she opened her first savings account in 1972. The email says, "Urgent, your account has been compromised. Update your password now, or your funds will be frozen." Mary's heart starts pounding. She thinks of her savings, the money she set aside for her grandkids' college funds, for that dream trip to see the Grand Canyon, for the rainy days she's always prepared for. The email looks real. It has the Chase logo, the same colors, even the little trademark symbol she's seen on her statements. But something feels off. Her gut tells her to wait, to think. But the clock is ticking, and the email says she only has 24 hours to act. What does Mary do? She clicks the link. And in that moment, her life changes forever. Within hours, her account is drained. Her savings gone. Her dreams shattered. And the worst part? She's not alone. Thousands of seniors across America, from Florida's retirement villages to Oregon's quiet suburbs, fall victim to scams like this every single day. But here's the good news, my friends. It doesn't have to be this way. You've navigated life's challenges with wisdom, raising families, building careers, weathering storms like the Great Recession and the uncertainty of 2020. You've balanced checkbooks, paid off mortgages, and taught your kids the value of a dollar. And now, it's time to add one more skill to your toolkit: internet safety. Because today, in this video, we're going to reveal the top signs of a scam, warning signs that could save you thousands of dollars, protect your loved ones, and give you the peace of mind you deserve. We're going to share real-life stories, just like Mary's, and most importantly, we're going to give you simple, practical steps to stay safe online. And if you stick around to the end, I've got something special for you: a free scam checklist you can download, print, and keep right by your computer or phone, so you'll always be one step ahead of the scammers. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds complicated. I'm not tech savvy. I didn't grow up with smartphones and Wi-Fi like my grandkids did. But let me tell you something. You don't need to be a tech genius to outsmart a scammer. You just need to know what to look for. And that's exactly what we're going to cover today. Think of this video as your personal scam protection workshop, right here, in the comfort of your own home, without needing to drive to the community center or figure out Zoom. Here's what you can expect. Over the next hour, we'll dive into the 5 major scam types targeting seniors in America today, from fake emails pretending to be your bank, to phone calls claiming to be the IRS, to online shopping deals that seem too good to be true. For each one, we'll show you the warning signs to watch for, the tricks scammers use to fool you, and the exact steps to take to protect yourself. We'll cover scams that hit close to home, like fake calls about your Medicare benefits, or emails pretending to be from the Veterans Affairs Office. And we'll do it all in a way that's easy to understand, with stories and examples that feel familiar, whether you're in a bustling city like Chicago or a quiet town in Iowa. Oh, and one more thing, grab a pen and paper or pause this video to get one, because you'll want to take notes. Trust me, by the end of this hour, you'll feel like a scam-spotting detective, ready to protect yourself, your family, and even your neighbors. So, let's get started, because the next time your phone rings or your inbox pings, you'll know exactly what to do. Let's dive into our first scam spotlight, and I want you to picture this scene with me. It's going to feel so familiar. You might think I'm peeking over your shoulder. Imagine it's a crisp fall morning, the kind where the leaves are turning golden outside your window, and the air smells like pumpkin spice from the latte you picked up at Starbucks during their annual autumn sale. You're sitting at your kitchen table, maybe with a plate of toast and that Smucker's strawberry jam you've loved since your kids were little. Your laptop is open, or maybe it's your iPad, the one your daughter insisted you needed to keep up with the grandkids' soccer game photos on Facebook. You're checking your email, just like you do every morning, maybe to see if the AARP newsletter has arrived or if there's a new deal from Kohl's for that winter coat you've been eyeing. And then, there it is, an email that stops you. Cold. The subject line screams in bold letters. Urgent. Your account will be closed if you don't update your information now. The sender? It looks like it's from your bank. Maybe it's Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, or even that local credit union you've trusted since you opened your first savings account back in the days when gas cost 35 cents a gallon. Or maybe it's not your bank. Maybe it's your utility company, like Duke Energy or PG&E, claiming your electricity will be shut off if you don't act immediately. Your heart starts to race. You think of the bills you pay online, the Social Security checks that get deposited automatically, the savings you've worked so hard to build over decades. The email looks official. It's got the logo, the colors, even the fine print at the bottom that reminds you of the statements you get in the mail. But here's the million-dollar question. Is it real? Or is it a trap? Now, let me pull you into a true story. A story that hits close to home for so many of us. This exact thing happened to a friend's grandfather, a man named Harold, who lives in a retirement community just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Harold's 78, a retired school bus driver who spent 40 years getting kids to school safely, the kind of guy who still sends handwritten thank you notes and keeps a jar of Werther's Originals on his coffee table for when the grandkids visit. Harold got an email just like the one I described, claiming to be from his bank, USAA, where he's kept his savings since his days in the Army. The email said his account was at risk, and all he had to do was click a link to update his information. Harold thought he was protecting his account. After all, he's careful, the kind of man who locks his doors at night and double-checks his receipts at the grocery store. But when he clicked that link, he wasn't protecting anything. He was handing over his Social Security number, his bank login, his life savings, to a criminal sitting halfway around the world, someone who saw Harold not as a person, but as a target. So, what exactly happened to Harold? He fell victim to what's called a phishing email, one of the most common scams targeting seniors in America today. Now, I know that word phishing might sound like something your grandson talks about when he's casting a line at the lake, but let me break it down for you in a way that makes sense. Phishing emails are fake messages designed to trick you into sharing personal information, like your passwords, your bank details, or even your Social Security number. Think of them like a stranger knocking on your door, pretending to be a trusted friend, maybe someone claiming to be from the electric company or the IRS. They look real, they sound real, but they're not. Their whole goal is to get you to open the door, or in this case, click a link, so they can rob you blind. And here's the scary part. These scammers are good. They've studied the logos, the language, the little details that make you trust an email, and they use them to fool even the most cautious among us. But here's the good news, my friends. You don't have to fall for it. You've got the wisdom, the experience, the gut instinct to spot these tricks, and I'm going to give you the tools to do it. Let's break down the warning signs, the red flags, that will help you spot a phishing email before it's too late. I want you to think of these as the alarm bells on your smoke detector, the kind that wake you up before the fire spreads. First, red flag number 1, urgent demands. Scammers love to create panic, to make you act without thinking. They'll say things like, your account will be closed in 24 hours, or your electricity will be shut off today, or you owe the IRS thousands of dollars. Pay now or face arrest. Does that sound familiar? It's the same trick door-to-door salesmen used back in the day, pressuring you to buy a vacuum cleaner you didn't need before the special offer expired. But here's the truth. Legitimate companies, like your bank or your utility company, don't send emails demanding immediate action. They'll send you a letter in the mail or call you with a number you can verify or give you time to think things over. So, the next time you see an email screaming urgent or act now, pause. Take a deep breath. That's your first clue something's fishy. Next, red flag number 2. Suspicious links. This is where the scammers really set their trap. Inside that email, there'll be a button or a link that says, click here to update your information, or click here to verify your account. It looks innocent enough, doesn't it? But here's the thing. Those links are like a wolf in sheep's clothing. They might take you to a website that looks exactly like your bank's login page, but it's a fake, a counterfeit designed to steal your information the moment you type it in. So, here's what you do. Don't click. Instead, hover your mouse over the link. Just hover, don't click, and look at the web address that pops up. Does it look strange? Is it full of random letters and numbers? Or is the bank's name misspelled, like Knockoff America instead of Bank of America? If it doesn't match the official website exactly, it's a scam. And here's a pro tip. Think of clicking a link in an email like opening your front door to a stranger without checking the peephole. Don't do it unless you're 100% sure it's safe. And finally, red flag number 3, generic greetings. Open that email and look at how it starts. Does it say, Dear customer or Dear account holder? That's a big warning sign. Legitimate companies, like your bank or your utility company, know your name. They've got it on file, and they use it. If you get an email from Chase, it'll say, Dear Mary Johnson, not Dear customer. Scammers, on the other hand, send these emails to thousands of people at once, like a fisherman casting a wide net, hoping to catch a few fish. So, if the greeting feels impersonal, like a form letter from the DMV, be suspicious. Now, let's talk about what to do if you spot these red flags, or even if you're not sure. Here are 2 simple, practical steps you can take to protect yourself, and I want you to think of these as your personal scam shield, the kind of armor that kept nights safe in the olden days. Step 1. Never click links in emails asking for personal information. I know it's tempting, especially when the email looks real and the pressure is on, but don't do it. Instead, go directly to the company's official website by typing the address yourself into your browser. For example, if the email claims to be from Bank of America, open a new tab, type www.bankofamerica.com, and log in there. It's like driving to the bank yourself instead of following a stranger who claims to work there. Step 2. Use a strong, unique password for your email. Think of it like a deadbolt on your front door. And here's a little trick. Make your password something easy to remember but hard to guess, like the name of your first pet plus the year you got married, like Fluffy 1965. And if you're worried about remembering all your passwords, write them down in a notebook you keep in a safe place, not on a sticky note taped to your computer screen. Now, I want you to take a moment and let this sink in. You've already outsmarted the scammers just by learning these signs. Think about that. Right now, at this very moment, you're smarter, stronger, and more prepared than you were 10 minutes ago. The next time you see an email like this, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll spot the urgent demands, the suspicious links, the generic greetings, and you'll say, Not today, scammer. Not on my watch. And here's the best part. You're not just protecting yourself. You're protecting your loved ones, too. Imagine sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner, surrounded by your kids and grandkids, and sharing what you've learned. Imagine telling your daughter, Honey, watch out for emails like this, or teaching your grandson, always check the web address before you click. You're not just a senior. You're a guardian, a mentor, a beacon of wisdom in a world that needs it more than ever. And here's something I want you to do right now, because I know you're the kind of person who takes action, who doesn't just sit back and let things happen. I want you to pause this video, yes, right now, and go check your inbox. Look at the emails you've received in the last week. Do you see any with those red flags we talked about? Urgent demands, suspicious links, generic greetings? If you do, Write them down on that piece of paper you grabbed earlier. Don't click anything. Don't reply. Just write them down. And later in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do with those emails, how to report them, how to protect yourself, and how to make sure no one else falls for the same trick. Because you're not just learning for yourself, you're learning for your community, for your neighbors, for the people you care about most. So, my friends, congratulations. You've just taken your first big step towards scam protection, and I'm so proud of you. You've got the wisdom, the experience, and now the knowledge to spot phishing emails before they can do any harm. And remember, this is just the beginning. We've got 4 more scams to cover, each one sneakier than the last. But with every step, you're building your scam protection toolkit, turning yourself into a fortress that no scammer can crack. So, let's keep going, because the next scam we're going to tackle is one that hits even closer to home, and I can't wait to show you how to beat it. All right, my friends, let's move on to our second scam spotlight, and this one is a doozy. It's the kind of scam that sneaks up on you when you least expect it, catching you off guard in the middle of an ordinary day. I want you to picture this scene with me, because I know you're going to recognize it, and it's going to feel so real, you might start looking over your shoulder. Imagine it's a lazy Saturday afternoon, the kind where the sun is streaming through your living room window, casting shadows on the hardwood floor you polished just last week. You've got a cup of Folgers coffee in your hand, the kind you've been brewing since the days when Johnny Carson was still hosting The Tonight Show, and you're settled into your favorite spot on the couch, the one with the perfect view of the bird feeder where the Cardinals come to visit. You're on your computer, maybe checking the latest deals on QVC or looking up a recipe for that pot roast you want to make for Sunday dinner. And then, out of nowhere, it happens. A loud, alarming beep blares from your speakers, and a bright red pop-up fills your screen, flashing like a neon sign at a roadside diner. The message is terrifying. Virus detected. Warning, your computer is infected. Call this number immediately to prevent data loss. Your heart jumps into your throat. You think of all the precious things on your computer, the photos of your grandkids' school plays, the email account where your social security payments get confirmed, the online banking you've just started to get the hang of after your son showed you how at Thanksgiving. The pop-up looks official. It's got logos, warning symbols, even a countdown timer ticking down like the clock on Jeopardy, telling you you've got just minutes to act. So, you do what feels natural. You pick up the phone, dial the number, and a friendly voice answers, saying, "Thank you for calling Microsoft support. I'm here to help you fix your computer, for a small fee, of course." Now, before we go any further, let me pull you into a true story. A story that's going to hit close to home, because it's about someone just like you, someone who's spent a lifetime serving others and deserves nothing but respect and security in their golden years. This exact thing happened to a retired teacher I know, a woman named Doris, who lives in a cozy little bungalow in Savannah, Georgia, the kind of place where Spanish moss hangs from the oak trees and the neighbors still gather for porch chats on warm evenings. Doris is 68, a former third-grade teacher who spent 35 years shaping young minds, the kind of woman who still keeps a jar of butterscotch candies on her kitchen counter for when the neighborhood kids come by to say hello. Doris was on her computer, looking up lesson plans to help tutor her grandson in math, when that pop-up appeared. She called the number, and the man on the other end was so polite, so professional, telling her, "Don't worry, ma'am. We'll fix this right up. Just give us access to your computer and pay a one-time fee of $299. Doris thought she was doing the right thing. After all, she's careful, the kind of woman who locks her car doors even in her own driveway and always reads the fine print on her Medicare statements. But what Doris didn't know was that the man on the phone wasn't from Microsoft. He was a scammer, sitting in a dark room somewhere, ready to drain her bank account and steal her personal information the moment she let him in. So, what exactly happened to Doris? She fell victim to what's called a fake tech support scam, one of the sneakiest phone-based scams targeting seniors in America today. Now, I know the word tech might sound intimidating, like something only your grandkids understand, with their TikToks and their Snapchats, but let me break it down for you in a way that makes perfect sense. These scammers pretend to be from trusted companies, like Microsoft, Apple, or Norton Antivirus, to trick you into giving them access to your computer or paying for fake services. It's like letting a thief into your home, thinking he's there. to fix your locks, only to have him walk out with your jewelry box and your checkbook. And here's the chilling part. These scammers are clever. They use fear, those loud pop-ups, those urgent warnings, to make you panic, to make you think you've got no time to waste, no time to think. But today, my friends, we're going to take back that power. We're going to learn the warning signs, the red flags, that will help you spot these scams before they can do any harm. Let's break down those red flags, and I want you to think of these as the headlights on your old Buick, the ones that light up the road ahead so you can avoid the potholes. First, red flag number 1, unsolicited calls. This is the big one, and it's so important. I'm going to say it twice. Real tech companies don't call you out of the blue. Think about it. When was the last time Microsoft or Apple called you to say, "Hey, we noticed a problem with your computer"? Never, right? If you didn't reach out to them first, if you didn't call their official number from their official website, it's a scam. It's like getting a knock on your door from a stranger claiming to be your electrician, saying, "I noticed your lights are flickering. Let me in to fix them." You wouldn't let him in, and you shouldn't let these callers into your life either. Next, red flag number 2, pressure tactics. Scammers love to scare you, to make you feel like the sky is falling if you don't act right this second. They'll say things like, "Your computer is at risk of crashing," or "All your data will be lost if you don't pay now," or "Hackers are stealing your information as we speak." Does that sound familiar? It's the same trick those late-night infomercials used back in the 80s, telling you, "Order now or miss out forever." But here's the truth. Legitimate tech companies don't use fear to sell their services. They don't need to. If you get a call or see a pop-up that's trying to scare you into action, pause. Take a deep breath. That's your second clue. Something's wrong. And finally, red flag number 3, requests for remote access. This is where the scammers really set their trap. They'll ask you to download a program or give them permission to control your computer remotely, saying, "We need to fix the virus," or "We need to install updates." But here's the thing. Once you let them in, it's like handing over the keys to your house. They can steal your passwords, your bank information, your personal files, even the photos of your grandkids' birthdays. So here's the rule, and I want you to remember it like you remember your mother's maiden name. Never let someone you don't know control your computer. It's like letting a stranger into your bedroom to check your safe. It's not safe, and it's not smart. Now, let's talk about what to do if you get a call like this, or if you see one of those alarming pop-ups. Here are 2 simple, practical steps you can take to protect yourself, and I want you to think of these as your personal scam repellent, the kind of bug spray that keeps the mosquitoes away on a hot summer night. Step 1. Hang up immediately. If you get a call like this, don't engage, don't argue, don't even say, "I know you're a scammer." Just hang up, like you'd slam the door on a pushy salesman. And if you see a pop-up on your screen, don't call the number, don't click anything. Just close the window, or better yet, shut down your computer and restart it. Step 2. Install antivirus software to protect your computer. Think of it as a security system for your home, the kind with the motion sensors and the loud alarm that scares off intruders. There are plenty of easy-to-use options out there, like Norton or McAfee, and if you're not sure how to set it up, ask a trusted family member or take your computer to a reputable local shop, like the one down the street from the diner where you get your Friday fish fry. And here's a bonus tip. Think of this like the cherry on top of your Dairy Queen sundae. If you're worried about pop-ups, use a call blocker on your phone and a pop-up blocker on your browser, like the ones built into Google Chrome or Firefox. Now, I want you to take a moment and let this sink in. You're smarter than these scammers. You know the signs, and you know how to protect yourself. Think about that. Right now, at this very moment, you're stronger, more prepared, and more confident than you were 10 minutes ago. The next time your phone rings with a number you don't recognize or a pop-up flashes on your screen, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll spot the unsolicited calls, the pressure tactics, the requests for remote access, and you'll say, "Not today. Scammer, not on my watch." And here's the best part. You're not just protecting yourself. You're protecting your loved ones, too. Imagine sitting down at the 4th of July barbecue, surrounded by your kids and grandkids, and sharing what you've learned. Imagine telling your son, "Honey, watch out for calls like this," or teaching your granddaughter, "Always hang up if someone asks to control your computer." You're not just a senior. You're a protector, a mentor, a beacon of wisdom and world that needs it more than ever. And here's something I want you to do right now, because I know you're the kind of person who takes action, who doesn't just sit back and let things happen. I want you to think back. Have you ever gotten a call like this? Maybe it was a few months ago, or maybe it was just last week, a call claiming to be from Microsoft or Apple or some antivirus company you've never heard of. Did they scare you? Did they pressure you? Did they ask to get into your computer? If you have a story like that, I want you to share it. Not with me, not right now, but with the community we're building here. Later, when this video is over, go down to the comments section and write your story. Share what happened, what you did, and what you wish you'd known. Because your story could save someone else. It could be the warning that stops your neighbor, your best friend, or even a stranger halfway across the country from falling into the same trap. And if you've never gotten a call like this, congratulations, you're already one step ahead. And now you're armed with the knowledge to stay that way. So, my friends, congratulations. You've just taken another giant step toward scam protection, and I'm so proud of you. You've got the wisdom, the experience, and now the knowledge to spot fake tech support calls before they can do any harm. And remember, this is just the beginning. We've got 3 more scams to cover, each one sneakier than the last. But with every step, you're building your scam protection toolkit, turning yourself into a fortress that no scammer can crack. So, let's keep going, because the next scam we're going to tackle is one that hits even closer to home, especially during the holiday season, and I can't wait to show you how to beat it. All right, my friends, let's move on to our 3rd scam spotlight, and this one is going to hit close to home. Especially if you're like so many of us who've embraced the convenience of online shopping, whether it's for holiday gifts, household essentials, or that little indulgence you treat yourself to every now and then. I want you to picture this scene with me, because I know it's going to feel so familiar. You might think I'm sitting right there with you at your kitchen table. Imagine it's a chilly November evening, the kind where the wind is rattling the storm windows and the leaves are swirling around the front porch like they do every fall in places like upstate New York or rural Nebraska. You've got a cup of Lipton tea in your hand, the kind you've been drinking since the days when the Lawrence Welk show was still on the air, and you're wrapped in that cozy Afghan your daughter-in-law crocheted for you last Christmas. You're on your laptop, maybe your trusty Dell that's been your faithful companion since the grandkids taught you how to use it, and you're shopping online for a gift for your grandkids. It's that time of year. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and Black Friday sales are everywhere, promising deals that make your heart skip a beat. You're looking for something special, something that'll light up their faces on Christmas morning, like a tablet for your granddaughter who's starting middle school, or maybe a gaming console for your grandson who's always talking about Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever those games are called these days. And then, there it is, a website offering an incredible deal on the exact tablet you've been eyeing, the kind you saw advertised on the evening news during a commercial break. Between Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy! The price is unbelievable, half of what you'd pay at Best Buy or Walmart, with free shipping to boot. It seems too good to be true, but the website looks real enough. It's got pictures, customer reviews, even a little add to cart button that feels so familiar. So, you enter your credit card information, hit Buy Now, and sit back, feeling proud of yourself for snagging such a bargain. But here's the million-dollar question. Was it a deal or a trap? Now, before we go any further, let me pull you into a true story. A story that's going to tug at your heartstrings, because it's about someone just like you, someone who spent a lifetime being careful, saving wisely, and giving generously, only to be taken advantage of by a heartless criminal. This exact thing happened to a senior in my community, a woman named Evelyn, who lives in a retirement village just outside of Boise, Idaho, the kind of place where folks gather for bingo on Friday nights, and the local diner still serves huckleberry pie made from scratch. Evelyn is 71, a retired nurse who spent 40 years caring for patients, the kind of woman who still keeps a tin of homemade oatmeal cookies on her counter for when the neighbors stop by to check on her. Evelyn was shopping online for a gift for her grandson's birthday, a tablet, just like in our story, when she found a website offering an incredible deal. She thought she was getting a bargain, a steal that would make her grandson's eyes light up when he opened his present. But the tablet never arrived. Instead, her credit card was charged twice, once for the tablet and once for a mysterious $500 charge she didn't authorize. By the time she realized what had happened, her money was gone, Her trust was shattered, and the website had vanished into thin air, like a mirage in the Idaho desert. So, what exactly happened to Evelyn? She fell victim to what's called a fake online shopping scam, one of the fastest growing scams targeting seniors in America today, especially around the holidays when we're all looking for deals to stretch our social security checks a little further. Now, I know the word online might sound intimidating, like something only your grandkids understand, with their Amazon Prime and their Venmo, but let me break it down for you in a way that makes perfect sense. These scams trick you into buying from fake websites or paying for items that never arrive. It's like buying from a street vendor at a flea market who disappears after taking your cash, leaving you with nothing but an empty wallet and a broken heart. And here's the chilling part. These scammers are clever. They create websites that look real, sometimes almost identical to the ones you trust, like Amazon, Walmart, or Macy's, and they use all the tricks in the book to lure you in, especially during peak shopping seasons like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or even the back-to-school sales in August. But today, my friends, we're going to take back that power. We're going to learn the warning signs, the red flags, that will help you spot these scams before they can do any harm. Let's break down those red flags, and I want you to think of these as the headlights on your old Chevy Impala, the ones that light up the road ahead so you can avoid the potholes on a dark country road. First, red flag number 1. Price is too good to be true. This is the big one, and it's so important, I'm going to say it twice. If it's way cheaper than everywhere else, it's probably a scam. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a brand new iPad or a KitchenAid mixer at half price, with free shipping, on a website you've never heard of? Never, right? Legitimate companies, like Best Buy or Target, don't slash prices like that without a catch. And if they do, it's part of a well-advertised sale, not a random pop-up on a shady website. So, the next time you see a deal that seems too good to be true, pause. Take a deep breath. That's your first clue something's fishy. Next, red flag number 2. Poor website design. This is where the scammers often slip up, and it's something you can spot with just a little bit of detective work. When you're on that website, take a good, hard look at it. Does it look sloppy? Are there typos in the product descriptions, like iPad instead of iPad, or Walmart instead of Walmart? Are the images blurry, like they were taken with an old flip phone instead of a professional camera? Is there a phone number or a customer service email listed? Or is the Contact Us page blank? Legitimate websites, like the ones you trust, are polished. They've got clear pictures, correct spelling, and real contact information because they want you to trust them. Fake websites, on the other hand, are thrown together quickly, like a lemonade stand set up by a kid who just wants your quarters before running off. So, if the website looks like it was designed by someone who didn't finish high school, be suspicious. And finally, red flag number 3, unsafe payment methods. This is where the scammers really set their trap. When you go to check out, look at how they're asking you to pay. Do they want you to send a wire transfer, like through Western Union, or pay with a gift card, like an Amazon or iTunes card? That's a huge warning sign. Legitimate websites, like Amazon or Kohl's, don't ask for wire transfers or gift cards. They take credit cards, debit cards, or PayPal, because those are secure and traceable. Scammers, on the other hand, love untraceable payments because once you send that money, it's gone, like throwing cash into a bonfire. So, here's the rule, and I want you to remember it like you remember your first phone number. If a website asks for a wire transfer, a gift card, or any payment method that feels strange, walk away. Now, let's talk about what to do if you spot these red flags, or even if you're not sure. Here are 2 simple, practical steps you can take to protect yourself, and I want you to think of these as your personal scam shield, the kind of armor that kept nights safe in the olden days. Step 1. Only shop on websites you trust. Look for HTTPS in the web address, like a padlock on your front door. Let me explain what that means, because I know it sounds like tech jargon, but it's actually pretty simple. When you're on a website, look at the top of your screen, where the web address is, the part that starts with www. If it says HTTPS instead of just HTTP, that means the website is secure, like a bank vault with a combination lock. If it doesn't, it's not safe, and you should leave immediately. And here's a pro tip. Think of this like the cherry on top of your Dairy Queen sundae. Stick to websites you know, like Amazon, Walmart, or Target, or ones recommended by trusted friends or family. Step 2. Use a credit card, not a debit card. For online purchases, it's easier to dispute charges. Why? Because if something goes wrong, you can call your credit card company, like Visa or MasterCard, and say, "Hey, this charge wasn't right," and they'll help you get your money back. With a debit card, that money is gone from your bank account right away, and it's much harder to recover. So, think of your credit card as your safety net, like the railing on your front porch steps. Now, I want you to take a moment and let this sink in. You've got the wisdom to spot these tricks. Right now, at this very moment, you're smarter, stronger, and more prepared than you were 10 minutes ago. The next time you're shopping online, whether it's for a gift for your grandkids, a new pair of slippers from Land's End, or even a subscription to that streaming service everyone's talking about, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll spot the prices that are too good to be true, the websites that look sloppy, the payment methods that scream scam, and you'll say, "Not today, scammer. Not on my watch." And here's the best part. You're not just protecting yourself. You're protecting your loved ones, too. Imagine sitting down at the Easter brunch, surrounded by your kids and grandkids, and sharing what you've learned. Imagine telling your daughter, "Honey, watch out for deals like this," or teaching your grandson, "Always check the web address before you buy." You're not just a senior. You're a protector, a mentor, a beacon of wisdom in a world that needs it more than ever. And here's something I want you to do right now, because I know you're the kind of person who takes action, who doesn't just sit back and let things happen. I want you to pause this video, yes, right now, and go check a website you've shopped on recently. Maybe it's the one where you bought that bird feeder from Home Depot, or the one where you ordered those vitamins from Puritan's Pride. Look at the top of the screen at the web address. Does it have the HTTPS padlock? If it does, congratulations, you're shopping smart. If it doesn't, make a note to find a safer alternative, and later, when this video is over, go down to the comments section and let us know what you found. Share your story. Did you spot a scam, or did you confirm a safe site? Because your story could save someone else. It could be the warning that stops your neighbor, your best friend, or even a stranger halfway across the country from falling into the same trap. And if you've never shopped online, congratulations. You're already one step ahead, and now you're armed with the knowledge to do it safely when you're ready. So, my friends, congratulations. You've just taken another giant step toward scam protection, and I'm so proud of you. You've got the wisdom, the experience, and now the knowledge to spot fake online shopping deals before they can do any harm. And remember, this is just the beginning. We've got 2 more scams to cover, each one sneakier than the last. But with every step, you're building your scam protection toolkit, turning yourself into a fortress that no scammer can crack. So, let's keep going, because the next scam we're going to tackle is one that hits even closer to home, especially for those of us who've ever felt the sting of loneliness, and I can't wait to show you how to beat it. Alright, my friends, let's move on to our 4th scam spotlight, and I want to approach this one with extra care, because it's a topic that touches the heart, a topic that's sensitive, personal, and for some of us, all too real. This scam isn't just about money. It's about trust, hope, and the deep human desire for connection, especially in our golden years when loneliness can sometimes creep in like an uninvited guest. I want you to picture this scene with me, because I know it's going to feel familiar, and I want you to know you're not alone if you've ever felt this way. Imagine it's a quiet Saturday evening, the kind where the sun sets early, painting the sky over your backyard in shades of orange and pink, like the sunsets you used to watch with your spouse on those summer drives to the lake. You're sitting in your living room, maybe in that recliner you bought at the JCPenney clearance sale back when the grandkids were still in diapers, and you've got a cup of chamomile tea in your hand, the kind you've been drinking since the days when the Waltons was still on TV, reminding you of simpler times that you're on your computer, or maybe your tablet, the one your kids insisted you needed to stay connected, and you've decided to try something new, online dating. Maybe it's been years since your spouse passed, or maybe you've been through a divorce, or maybe you've just been feeling that ache of loneliness that comes with empty nest syndrome, now that the kids have their own families in the house. Feels a little too quiet. You've signed up for a dating site. Maybe it's Silver Singles, or Our Time, or even one of those apps your granddaughter showed you, like Match.com, because she said, "Grandma, you deserve to find someone special, too." And then, there he is, or she is, someone charming, someone who seems to understand you in a way you haven't felt in years. They send you messages that make your heart flutter, messages that say, "You're so beautiful," or "I feel like I've known you forever," or "You remind me of my first love, back when I was young and the world was full of possibilities." They tell you stories about their life. Maybe he's a retired engineer working on a big project overseas, or maybe she's a nurse helping children in a far-off country. Stories that sound romantic, adventurous, like something out of a Hallmark movie. But then, after a few weeks of daily messages, maybe even phone calls where their voice sounds so warm, so sincere, something changes. They start asking for money. Maybe it's for a plane ticket to come visit you, saying, "I can't wait to meet you, but I just need a little help with the fare." Or maybe it's for a sudden emergency, saying, "My daughter is sick, and I need $1,000 for her surgery. I promise I'll pay you back." Your heart wants to believe them. After all, they've been so kind, so attentive, and you've started to imagine a future together, maybe holding hands at the county fair or sharing a slice of pecan pie at the local diner. But here's the million-dollar question. Is it love, or is it a lie? Now, before we go any further, let me pull you into a true story. A story that's going to break your heart, because it's about someone just like you, someone who's spent a lifetime giving love, only to have it cruelly exploited by a heartless criminal. This exact thing happened to a widow in her 70s, a woman named Margaret, who lives in a small town in Tennessee, the kind of place where the church bells ring every Sunday morning and the annual 4th of July parade is the highlight of the year. Margaret is 74, a retired librarian who spent 30 years helping children find the perfect book, the kind of woman who still keeps a vase of fresh daisies on her kitchen table and writes letters to her grandkids in cursive, even though they prefer texts. Margaret lost her husband of 45 years to cancer, and after 2 years of grieving, she decided to try online dating, hoping to find companionship, someone to share a cup of coffee with, someone to laugh with at the silly reruns of Golden Girls on TV. She met a man on a dating site, a man who claimed to be a retired doctor working on a humanitarian mission in Africa. He was charming, attentive, sending her poems and messages that made her feel young again, like she was back in the days of drive-in movies and soda fountains. But then he asked for money. First $500 for a plane ticket, then $2,000 for a medical emergency, then $5,000 for a business deal that would let him come home to her. Margaret thought she'd found love, but instead, she lost thousands, her savings, her security, and worst of all, her trust in others. By the time she realized it was a scam, the man had disappeared, leaving her with nothing but heartbreak and an empty bank account. So, what exactly happened to Margaret? She fell victim to what's called a romance scam, one of the most heartbreaking scams targeting seniors in America today, especially those of us who've ever felt the sting of loneliness or the hope of new beginnings. Now, I know this is a sensitive topic, and I want you to know that if you've ever been through something like this, or even if you've just thought about trying online dating, there's no shame in it, none at all. You're a person with a big heart, a person who deserves love, companionship, and joy, just like anyone else. But these scammers? They prey on your emotions, building trust to trick you into sending money. It's like a con artist pretending to be your best friend, someone who listens to your stories, laughs at your jokes, only to pick your pocket when your back is turned. And here's the chilling part. These scammers are clever. They know how to make you feel special, how to make you feel seen, how to make you believe in a future that's nothing but a mirage. But today, my friends, we're going to take back that power. We're going to learn the warning signs, the red flags, that will help you spot these scams before they can do any harm, because you deserve real, honest relationships, not lies wrapped in flattery. Let's break down those red flags, and I want you to think of these as the headlights on your old Ford Fairlane, the ones that light up the road ahead so you can avoid the potholes on a dark country road. First, red flag number 1, moving too fast. This is the big one, and it's so important. I'm going to say it twice. They declare love or commitment very quickly. Think about it. When you met your spouse, or your best friend, or even that neighbor you've known for 20 years, did it happen overnight? No, right? Real relationships take time, like a garden that needs watering, sunlight, and care to grow. But scammers? They'll say, "I love you" after a week, or "You're my soulmate after 2," or "I want to marry you before you've even met." They do this to overwhelm you, to sweep you off your feet, to make you feel so special that you don't stop to think. So, the next time someone online says, "I love you," faster than you can say apple pie, pause. Take a deep breath. That's your first clue something's fishy. Next, red flag number 2. Excuses for not meeting. This is where the scammers often slip up, and it's something you can spot with just a little bit of detective work. They'll always have a reason they can't video chat, can't talk on the phone, can't meet in person. Maybe they say, "My camera is broken," or "I'm overseas on a project," or "I'm too shy to video chat, but I'll meet you soon, I promise." Does that sound familiar? It's the same trick those pen pals used back in the day, the ones who kept writing letters but never showed up for the high school reunion. But here's the truth. Legitimate people, people who truly care about you, will make an effort to meet, to connect, to build a real relationship, even if it's just a quick FaceTime call to say hello. Scammers, on the other hand, hide behind excuses because they're not who they say they are. They're not the handsome doctor or the beautiful nurse. They're a criminal sitting in a dark room, preying on your trust. So, if they keep dodging a face-to-face meeting, be suspicious. And finally, red flag number 3, requests for money. This is where the scammers really set their trap, and it's the biggest warning sign of all. They'll ask for money, maybe for a plane ticket to come visit you, or to help with a sudden emergency, like a sick child, a lost wallet, or a business deal gone wrong. They'll say, "I promise I'll pay you back," or "This is just temporary," or "If you love me, you'll help me." But here's the rule, and I want you to remember it like you remember your wedding vows. Real relationships don't start with financial demands. Think about it. When you met your spouse, or your best friend, or even that neighbor who borrows your lawnmower, did they ask for money right away? No, right? Real love, real friendship, is about giving, not taking. About building trust, not breaking it. So, if someone online asks for money, no matter how charming they seem, no matter how much your heart wants to believe them, walk away. Now, let's talk about what to do if you spot these red flags, or even if you're not sure. Here are 2 simple, practical steps you can take to protect yourself, and I want you to think of these as your personal scam shield, the kind of armor that kept nights safe in the olden days. Step 1. Never send money to someone you haven't met in person. Think of it like lending money to a stranger on the street. I know it's hard, especially when your heart is involved, but remember, your safety, your security, your well-being come first. And here's a pro tip. Think of this like the cherry on top of your Dairy Queen sundae. If they ask for money, take a screenshot of the message, save it, and show it to someone you trust, because sometimes seeing it in black and white can help you see the truth. Step 2. Talk to a trusted friend or family member before making big decisions online. This is so important because sometimes, when we're in the thick of it, when our emotions are running high, it's hard to see clearly. But a friend, a child, a neighbor, someone who cares about you, can offer a fresh perspective, like a lighthouse guiding you back to shore. So, if you're thinking about sending money, or even if you're just feeling unsure, pick up the phone, call your daughter, your son, your best friend, and say, "Hey, can I tell you about this person I've been talking to?" And if you don't have someone to call, reach out to a local senior center or even the AARP Fraud Watch Network. They're there to help, and they'll never judge you. Now, I want you to take a moment and let this sink in. You deserve real, honest relationships. Right now, at this very moment, you're smarter, stronger, and more prepared than you were 10 minutes ago. The next time you're online, whether it's on a dating site, a social media platform, or even just chatting with someone new, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll spot the people who move too fast, the excuses for not meeting, the requests for money, and you'll say, "Not today, scammer, not on my watch." And here's the best part. You're not just protecting yourself. You're protecting your loved ones, too. Imagine sitting down at the Thanksgiving table, surrounded by your kids and grandkids, and sharing what you've learned. Imagine telling your daughter, "Honey, watch out for people like this online," or teaching your grandson, "Always be careful who you trust, even if they seem nice." You're not just a senior. You're a protector, a mentor, a beacon of wisdom in a world that needs it more than ever. And here's something I want you to do right now. because I know you're the kind of person who takes action, who doesn't just sit back and let things happen. I want you to think back. Have you ever seen these signs? Maybe it was a few months ago, or maybe it was just last week. Someone online who seemed too good to be true. Someone who moved too fast, made excuses, asked for money. Did they charm you? Did they pressure you? Did they make you feel special, only to leave you feeling unsure? If you have a story like that, I want you to share it. Not with me, not right now, but with the community we're building here. Later, when this video is over, go down to the comments section and write your story. Share what happened, what you did, and what you wish you'd known. Because your story could save someone else. It could be the warning that stops your neighbor, your best friend, or even a stranger halfway across the country from falling into the same trap. And if you've never encountered a scam like this, congratulations, you're already one step ahead, and now you're armed with the knowledge to stay that way, and to help others do the same. So, my friends, congratulations. You've just taken another giant step toward scam protection, and I'm so proud of you. You've got the wisdom, the experience, and now the knowledge to spot romance scams before they can do any harm. And remember, this is just the beginning. We've got one more scam to cover, one that hits close to home for so many of us, especially when it comes to our hard-earned benefits, and I can't wait to show you how to beat it. So, let's keep going, because by the end of this hour, you'll be a scam-spotting detective, ready to protect yourself, your family, and your community. All right, my friends, we've made it to our fifth and final scam spotlight, and I'm so proud of you for sticking with me this far, because I know this journey hasn't been easy. It's been eye-opening, sometimes a little scary, but oh so important, especially for this last scam, which hits close to home for so many of us, particularly when it comes to the benefits and security we've worked so hard to earn. I want you to picture this scene with me, because I know it's going to feel familiar, and it's going to stir up that gut instinct you've relied on all your life, the one that's guided you through tough times, from raising kids to weathering economic storms like the gas shortages of the 70s or the uncertainty of the 2008 recession. Imagine it's a crisp winter morning, the kind where the frost is sparkling on your front lawn and the mailbox is stuffed with holiday catalogs from places like LL Bean and Harry and David, promising fruit baskets and flannel pajamas for the grandkids. You're sitting at your kitchen table, maybe with a mug of Maxwell House coffee, the kind you've been drinking since the days when Walter Cronkite was still delivering the evening news, and you're sorting through your bills, making sure everything's in order, because that's what you do. That's who you are, someone who's careful, responsible, always prepared. And then, the phone rings. You glance at the caller ID, and your heart skips a beat. It says Social Security Administration in big, bold letters, the kind of official-looking display that makes you sit up straight, like you did when the principal called you into the office back in high school. You pick up, and a stern, official-sounding voice says, "This is Officer Thompson from the Social Security Administration. We've detected fraudulent activity on your account. You owe $2,000 in back taxes, and if you don't pay immediately, your benefits will be cut off, permanently. You could even face arrest." Your stomach drops. You think of your Social Security checks, the ones you've relied on since you retired from that factory job in Detroit, or that teaching position in Tulsa, or that nursing gig in Portland. The checks that pay for your groceries, your medications, your visits to the grandkids. You think of the years you paid into the system, the sacrifices you made, the mornings you got up at 5 a.m. to punch the clock. Also, you could have a secure retirement. The voice on the phone is insistent, urgent, saying, "You need to pay now, over the phone, or we'll take legal action." But here's the million-dollar question. Is it real, or is it a trap? Now, before we go any further, let me pull you into a true story. A story that's going to make your blood boil, because it's about someone just like you. Someone who spent a lifetime playing by the rules, only to be targeted by a heartless criminal. This exact thing happened to a retiree I know, a man named George, who lives in a retirement community in Sarasota, Florida, the kind of place where the palm trees sway in the breeze and the community center hosts potlucks every Thursday night, with homemade key lime pie and stories of the good old days. George is 76, a retired postal worker who spent 35 years delivering mail through rain, sleet, and snow, the kind of man who still flies the American flag on his front porch and keeps a jar of peppermints on his coffee table for when the neighbors stop by to play bridge. George got a call just like the one I described, claiming to be from the IRS, saying he owed money and his Social Security benefits were at risk. The caller was so convincing, so official sounding, even using George's full name and the last 4 digits of his Social Security number, that George panicked. He thought he was doing the right thing. After all, he's careful, the kind of man who files his taxes on time, keeps his checkbook balanced, and double-checks his Medicare statements. But what George didn't know was that the caller wasn't from the IRS. He was a scammer, sitting in a dark room somewhere, ready to drain George's bank account the moment he sent that payment. George wired $3,000, thinking he was protecting his benefits, only to find out it was a scam, leaving him with nothing but a lighter wallet and a heavier heart. So, what exactly happened to George? He fell victim to what's called a government impersonation scam, one of the most frightening scams targeting seniors in America today, especially because it preys on our trust in the institutions we've relied on all our lives, like the IRS, Social Security, Medicare, or even the Veterans Administration for those of us who served. Now, I know the word government might sound intimidating, like something out of a Washington, D.C. briefing, but let me break it down for you in a way that makes perfect sense. These scammers pretend to be from official agencies to scare you into paying. It's like a fake police officer knocking on your door, flashing a badge, and demanding a fine on the spot, only to disappear with your cash. And here's the chilling part. These scammers are clever. They use fear, those threats, those urgent demands, to make you panic, to make you think you've got no time to waste, no time to think, especially when it comes to something as serious as your taxes or your benefits. But today, my friends, we're going to take back that power. We're going to learn the warning signs, the red flags, that will help you spot these scams before they can do any harm, because you've worked too hard, sacrificed too much, to let a criminal take what's rightfully yours. Let's break down those red flags, and I want you to think of these as the headlights on your old Chrysler LeBaron, the ones that light up the road ahead so you can avoid the potholes on a dark country road. First, red flag number 1, threats. This is the big one, and it's so important. I'm going to say it twice. Real agencies don't threaten you over the phone. Think about it. When was the last time the IRS or Social Security called you out of the blue, saying, "Pay now, or else"? Never, right? Legitimate agencies, like the ones you trust, send letters in the mail, official notices with your name, your account number, and a clear explanation of what's going on. They give you time to respond, time to verify, time to think. Scammers, on the other hand, use threats to scare you, saying things like, "Your benefits will be cut off," or "You'll be arrested," or "We'll seize your bank account." Does that sound familiar? It's the same trick those door-to-door salesmen used back in the day, pressuring you to buy a vacuum cleaner you didn't need before this special offer expired. So, the next time you get a call with threats, pause. Take a deep breath. That's your first clue something's fishy. Next, red flag number 2, demands for unusual payment. This is where the scammers often slip up, and it's something you can spot with just a little bit of detective work. They'll ask you to pay in ways that legitimate agencies never do, like sending a wire transfer through Western Union or buying a gift card, like an Amazon or iTunes card, and reading them the numbers over the phone. Does that sound right to you? Of course not. Think about it. When you pay your taxes or resolve an issue with Social Security, do they ever say, "Go buy a gift card at Walmart"? Never, right? Legitimate agencies, like the IRS or Social Security, take payments through secure, official channels, like checks, credit cards, or direct bank transfers, and they never, ever ask for gift cards or wire transfers. Scammers, on the other hand, love untraceable payments, because once you send that money, it's gone, like throwing cash into a bonfire. So, if they ask for unusual payment methods, be suspicious. And finally, red flag number 3, caller ID spoofing. This is where the scammers really set their trap, and it's the sneakiest trick of all. The number on your caller ID might look real, like it's really coming from the IRS, Social Security, or even your local police department. But here's the thing, it's fake. Scammers use technology to spoof the caller ID, making it look like an official number, when really, it's just a criminal on the other end, hiding behind a mask. Does that sound familiar? It's like the old days, when someone would call pretending to be your long-lost cousin, only to ask for a loan. But here's the truth. You can't trust caller ID anymore, not when it comes to something as serious as this. So, if the number looks real, don't believe it, verify it every time. Now, let's talk about what to do if you get a call like this, or even if you're not sure. Here are 2 simple, practical steps you can take to protect yourself, and I want you to think of these as your personal scam shield, the kind of armor that kept nights safe in the olden days. Step 1. Hang up and call the agency directly using a number from their official website. Think of it like double-checking a stranger's ID. I know it's tempting to stay on the line, to argue, to try to figure it out, but don't. Just hang up, like you'd slam the door on a pushy salesman. Then, go to your computer or pick up a letter from the agency and find their official number, the one on their website, like irs.gov or ssa.gov or va.gov if it's the Veterans Administration. Call that number and ask, "Did you really call me?" 9 times out of 10, they'll say no, and you'll know it was a scam. Step 2. Report scams to the FTC at ftc.gov. Your report could help stop these criminals. I know it feels like a small thing, but think of it like calling the police after a burglary in your neighborhood. Your report could save someone else, someone just like you, from falling into the same trap. And here's a pro tip. Think of this like the cherry on top of your Dairy Queen sundae. If you're worried about these calls, write down the FTC's number, 1-877-FTC-HELP, and keep it by your phone, so you're always ready to take action. Now, let's talk about some tools and resources you can use to protect yourself, because I know you're the kind of person who doesn't just want to avoid scams. You want to build a fortress around your life, a fortress that no scammer can crack. Here are 2 simple tools you can use, and I want you to think of these as your personal scam detectors, the kind of radar that spots a storm before it hits. First, use antivirus software to protect your computer. Think of it like a security system for your home, the kind with the motion sensors and the loud alarm that scares off intruders. There are plenty of easy-to-use options out there, like Norton, McAfee, or even the free ones built into Windows, like Microsoft Defender. And if you're not sure how to set it up, ask a trusted family member, or take your computer to a reputable local shop, like the one down the street from the diner where you get your Friday fish fry. Second, consider a call blocker for your phone. Think of it like a doorman at a fancy hotel, only letting in the people you trust. There are apps for your smartphone, like Namorobo or Haya, or devices for your landline, like the ones you can buy at Radio Shack or, well, Best Buy, since Radio Shack isn't around much anymore. And here's a bonus tip. Think of this like the whipped cream on your pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. If you're worried about emails from these scammers, use a separate email address for official business, like one just for your Social Security or Medicare correspondence, so you can spot fakes more easily. And here's something special I want to offer you, because I know you're the kind of person who likes to be prepared, who keeps a flashlight in the drawer for power outages and a first aid kit in the car for emergencies. I've put together a free scam warning signs checklist, a simple, 1-page guide that lists all the red flags we've talked about today, from phishing emails to government impersonation scams, along with the steps to take if you spot them. You can download it, print it, and keep it right by your computer or phone, so you'll always be one step ahead of the scammers. Later, when this video is over, go to the description below, click the link, and get your copy. It's my gift to you, because you deserve to feel safe, secure, and in control. Now, I want you to take a moment and let this sink in. You've just armed yourself with the knowledge to outsmart scammers. Right now, at this very moment, you're smarter, stronger, and more prepared than you were an hour ago. Think about that. You've spent the last hour learning the tricks, spotting the traps, building your scam protection toolkit, and turning yourself into a fortress that no criminal can crack. You're not a target. You're a protector for yourself, your loved ones, your community, because that's who you are. That's what you do. You've raised families, built careers, weathered storms, and now you've added one more skill to your incredible life's work: internet safety. And here's the best part. By staying safe, you're keeping your hard-earned money secure, protecting your social security, your savings, your dreams, and you're helping others avoid these traps, too. Imagine sitting down at the Christmas dinner table, surrounded by your kids and grandkids, and sharing what you've learned. Imagine telling your daughter, "Honey, watch out for calls like this," or teaching your grandson, always verify before you trust. You're not just a senior, you're a protector, a mentor, a beacon of wisdom in a world that needs it more than ever. Now, my friends, here's what I want you to do next, because I know you're the kind of person who takes action, who doesn't just sit back and let things happen, who believes in making a difference, not just for yourself, but for others. First, if you found this helpful, if this hour has given you the tools, the confidence, the peace of mind to stay safe online, I want you to hit the like button. Not for me, but for the people out there who need to see this, the people who might be one click away from a scam, the people who need your help to stay safe. Second, if you want to keep learning, if you want to keep building your scam protection toolkit, I want you to subscribe to this channel, because every week, we're bringing you more tips, more stories, more ways to stay safe, secure, and in control. And third, I want you to share your story, because I know you have one, or you know someone who does. Have you ever encountered a scam? Maybe it was a phishing email, a fake tech support call, a too-good-to-be-true shopping deal, a romance scam, or a government impersonation call like the one we just talked about. Did it scare you? Did it confuse you? Did you outsmart it? Or did you wish you'd known more? Later, when this video is over, go down to the comments section and write your story. Share what happened, what you did, and what you wish you'd known, because your story could save someone else. It could be the warning that stops your neighbor, your best friend, or even a stranger halfway across the country from falling into the same trap. And if you've never encountered a scam, congratulations, you're already one step ahead, and now you're armed with the knowledge to stay that way, and to help others do the same. And finally, my friends, here's one last thing I want you to do, because I know you're the kind of person who loves to learn, who loves to grow, who loves to protect. Next, I want you to watch our video on how to spot fake online shopping deals, because the holidays are coming, and the scammers are gearing up, but so are we. Later, when this video is over, go to the description below, click the link, and watch that video, because every step you take, every lesson you learn, makes you stronger, smarter, and safer. So, my friends, congratulations. You've just completed your scam protection workshop, and I'm so proud of you. You've got the wisdom, the experience, and now the knowledge to outsmart any scammer who comes your way. So go out there, stay safe, stay strong, and remember, you're not just a senior, you're a hero, a protector, a beacon of light in a world that needs you more than ever. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.